Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I'm your host, Gordo Gambles, joined today by two absolute beauties to break down a personal favorite for me in UFC Columbus. Maybe not the best card on paper, but guess what? I'm here. I'm in the building. And quick disclaimer before I bring my guests in. Yes, I am in Columbus this week to watch the fights. That means two things. First of all, hotel Wi-Fi. So please bear with me if it shuts down. I got two incredible hosts who will be able to take over, but that is a warning. And second of all, again, I'm watching it, so I may be a bit degenerate this week, but I'll try to let you guys know which plays I like more than others. And these two guests I have with me are absolutely killer, so I'm excited to introduce them to you. First things first, returning guest of the show, the man, the myth, the legend, Phoenix MMA. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. Excited for a nice little 10 p.m. live stream here, break down some fights. This is turned into a very high volume card for me so far, so
Awesome.
excited to break it down with you.
Well, it like you said, high volume card for you, me as well. And yeah, I have spent 10 hours in the car today, so I'm very. I apologize immediately for any lack of judgment I may have. But don't worry, if I'm not sharp, I know a guy who is. Timothy Troiano, welcome to the show, my friend.
Great to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And I know we've been talking for a long time. The host, or sorry, co-host of Lambo Plays on Friday that I love to watch each and every week. So happy to finally have you on. All right, let's get her started. Then I see a couple people in the chat. What is up? I see you. I do not see you, though. Cheers, man. Thanks for joining in on this nice little 10 p.m. show live from Columbus, Ohio. South of the border for me. And I think it'll be some fun this weekend. We got a nice, 13 fight card from a DraftKings player and myself. We're still missing one fight on the salaries, which does bother me. But to know anything more about my DraftKings play, that video should be out tomorrow. I sent it over to my co-host who will edit that video. And I do have a best bets video on the current MMA channel. But without further ado, let's get her started. The very first fight of the night. We have the 15-7 Luis Saldana versus the 10-2 Bruno Souza kicking us off at 145. I'll send it over to you for the first time guest, Tim. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, you know what? Saldana is going to come out really early. He usually's got about, the first round he goes after it really hard, and then he starts to slow down as the fight gets going on. And, I think also the style of the fight usually will also determine how much his gas tank he has or how much, gas he has in the tank. And in this style, I think he might have a little bit longer to fight and to go after him because of the style on the other side with Souza is just he's very cautious. He moves his feet a lot. He's got a wide karate stance and style, but he's very low volume, and he'll pick his chances to go in and out. And he plays off his back foot a lot. So, optically, it's not a real great look, but he tends to fight very close fights. And this is, a situation where I see that the fight's going to go to the distance. Even though Saldana, tends to slow down, it's not like he death gasses and stops fighting and can get put out. He's going to keep fighting, and it's also Souza's not going to really knock anybody out typically. So I think the fight's going to decision, and I think it's going to be just another one of those situations where how did the judges see it? And I like betting split decisions a lot, and I think this is a great opportunity to bet a split decision. You can bet just the fight ends by split decision at plus 400, or you can go, if you like a certain side, you could go 8-1 on either one of the guys. So.
Love it, man. Bringing the Lambo plays already. This is one where I see it just like you. I see this one going on 15 minutes, and briefly, it's just who do I see winning the minutes here? Souza's a patient guy who likes that counter striking, and I don't think it's going to fare very well for him here. I'm on Saldana. I picked him on my current MMA video, and I think he takes it home. Phoenix, what about yourself?
Yeah, pass for me. I haven't gone into the tape for this one.
Don't blame you at all, man. First fight of the night, I do think it's going to be maybe not the best one to kick off the card because, like Tim mentioned, I do see it going all 15. Just when it comes to picking a betting side, I think that the guy who wins the minutes, the guy who's put out some more volume, who fights at a higher pace, is going to be Saldana. I know Tim also mentioned that cardio, but I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem in that Bagdasaryan fight. We just saw Souza run away for 15 minutes. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but typically he is a counter striker, and I just see this one going all 15. Saldana winning the minutes. Give me Saldana at I think he's a plus money underdog right now as well, so I don't mind that to start off my night. We get right into the next one, though, a very, very pivotal matchup at 125. David Dvorak, 20-3. Mateus Nicolau, 17-2-1. This is one that's actually, I'm surprised how far down it is on the prelims. It's a fun fight. I'm really looking forward to this one. I know you haven't taped a couple of fights, Phoenix, so we'll go pass it over to you again, Tim. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, this is a great fight. I've had money on Nicolau before, and when they cut him, I was shocked when they cut him earlier. So I thought I've. It's kind of weird. Like I've rated him really high before, and I think I was wrong. Like I thought I've rated him like I overrated him in some of the fights that he's fought before, and sometimes you got to look back and be like, I was not right on these guys, or so sometimes you can be stubborn with certain fighters, and he's a guy that I can admit that I've kind of overrated a little bit. So. This is a fight again. I think it's going to be a really close one. They're different style fighters. I think if the fight does hit the ground, I think Nicolau's dangerous, got some dangerous BJJ. While the fight stays standing, I think I kind of lean to Dvorak. But this is again, I'm not going to do this every fight, but I think this fight goes to decision too, and I think it's going to be very, very close. So I could see either side winning, and I could see it just being crazy again by how the judges. Judge. They judge by the guy who's having more impactful strikes or a guy who has a little bit more of the volume edge and is walking and plotting forward. So I like split on this one as well. And I like to fight goes to decision as well. So not going to do it every time, I swear.
No, hey, I see it as well. And this is a fight at 125. You go there in attendance, you're expecting some violence. I'm with you. I see it going all 15. Phoenix, any words on this one?
Yeah, this is the other one of the other three that I haven't gone into tape yet, but I do know both of these guys a little well. I kind of agree with a lot with what Tim was saying. I think I favored Dvorak a little bit on the feet. I think Nicolau sometimes accepts the back foot, so I think Dvorak's going to be the guy going forward. Nicolau could mix in some grappling though and could look like a decent favorite if that works out for him well. But only thing I will say is Dvorak in his his last fight against I forget the guy, the little guy that came up on short notice. I remember watching the tape on that fight. And I literally was like, Dvorak wins this fight by rear naked choke. But because it was booked such a late notice, I didn't have a book that allowed me to bet the sub prop. And I just remember it absolutely crushing my soul after he rear naked choked. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, that would have been a nice little Lambo play for you. Shout out to Tim Show on Friday. But yeah, last time out, he got a much favorable opponent. I think it's taken a step up here. I have counted out Nicolau in the past. I'll admit it. I bet Elliott. And it's one of these ones where I think it'd be a really close fight. On the feet, Dvorak is a sniper. I like his range, like his ability to hit those targets. The problem is I don't see his game being as he has a very well-rounded game, to get that wrong. But I like Nicolau's ability to mix it up. I like his ability to go out there and take it to the ground. I think he, like Tim mentioned, very, very versatile ground game. I like his fight IQ. I think he showed a decent fight IQ against Tim and a couple other fights as well. Am I playing this with a lot of conviction? No, but if I'm sitting here watching this event and I want to have money on every single fight, I'm taking the dog. I'm going to take Nicolau here, plus 110. I think he has the ability to mix it up and win some minutes here. If it stays on the feet for a long period of time, though, I am going to be a bit worried about my ticket, especially knowing that Dvorak does hit with a bit of power, a lot of finishes on a resume, and it's not like Nicolau hasn't been finished before early on. But no, I see this going all 15, like Tim mentioned, and I'm taking Nicolau in it.
Do you guys think that there's any value in? I mean, there's definitely value, but do you think that actually happens that Dvorak could KO Nicolau? I think it goes decision, like I said,
yeah.
but because it's like a crazy line. Like I don't know if you saw the line. I think it's like 7 or 8 to 1, or maybe even 9 to 1 on DK.
Yeah, the one thing I'm worried about too is it's not like Nicolau has some iron chin. He's been knocked out before, right. And I think if it stays on the feet for a long period of time, we've seen Dvorak be he's a very precise striker, and I mentioned that already. And I like his skill set. The problem is I think that Nicolau's going to know how to go. I think he's also a pretty good reactional grappler as well. If he does get wobbled, he will shoot that takedown. I do think there is some value to it. Not something I'm rushing to play, but if you are on the Dvorak side, I do not mind it. Yeah, Gabriel's saying plus 600. Yeah, I think it's a good bet. When you said plus 900 as well, 9 to 1. So
yeah, I saw it earlier in the week. Yeah, it's probably people been just killing the line. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because Dvorak is a guy with a lot of finishes on his record. And I know his first 2 UFC fights, sure, it went to decision, but he played a very patient fight against Espinoza. Nicolau, I think, brings a decent pace sometimes. Maybe mostly because his opponents do as well. But I think it's going to be a fun fight. I do think it has value, but being on the Nicolau side, I do not. I hope it does not hit for you. Unfortunately, maybe if I'm in there in attendance, want some violence early, maybe I'll take it. But
I want the split to happen. I'm on the split for both the first 2 fights, so no worries. I want it to be a very close fight.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep these breakdown's nice and snappy. I appreciate you guys' input. Next fight up, Jennifer Maia, 19-8-1 versus Manon Fiorot, 8-1. Yes, Manon Fiorot getting a huge step up in competition. Doesn't matter. She's still minus 500. This is another wide line. I think this is the last fight you haven't taped, Phoenix, if I'm not wrong. So I'll pass it to Tim first.
Yeah, I think Manon covers her here. I mean, I think the money line is definitely wide. Try to attack which prop I think will hit more. Even though Maya has shown to be very durable and lasted against Valentina, I think it's possible that Manon maybe gets her out attritionally later in the fight. It's not a great line at plus 215 or 220 right now, but there's another fight later on that I'll say the exact same thing. Like if I'm gonna put a DGen bet out there, it's way better sweating a plus 300 than a minus 110 or something like that. So I'd rather take the shot on the KO and the violence at this point. And could she get her out pointer and just beat her in a clear 30-27? Absolutely. If you told me that Maya's going to wrestle and grapple and do things like that, I'd say that the line is hysterically bad, but she's shot like 8 takedowns and gotten 2. So one, the catch, she caught a kick against Valentina. So it really wasn't a takedown. So I think Manon rolls here, either a unanimous decision or a knockout.
Awesome. Love to hear it, especially being on the same side as you. Phoenix, you see this one going down?
Yeah, I largely agree. I think going into tape, I was very much considering the lines very wide, especially because I remember that Fiorot did have issues. I think she had issues grappling early on in her career. But I don't really rate the wrestling game of Maya that high, to be honest. And on the feet, she's very kind of like plotty. Like she doesn't really have great footwork. She's kind of there to be hit. And I think Fiorot should just be able to stay on the outside and kind of just piece her up. I actually think there's a lot of value on the decision prop. I'm probably going to be on that after I run the tape, just because I know Maya's pretty tough. I'm seeing plus money I can get it on. Fiorot is definitely a very, very dangerous striker and finisher, but I don't necessarily think that she's just guaranteed to finish everybody. Like I rate her striking really high. I'm actually really high on her, and I was on her inside the distance against Ricci. But Maya's super tough, and again, like you said, it's a step up in competition. I don't think she's just gonna like wipe her out in like a round or two. I think that it's kind of gonna be more stay on the outside, pressure forward, kind of land shots. If anything, maybe like a late finish. But yeah, I largely agree with everything that Tim said as well.
Perfect. That's something I love to hear, being on that same side. Gabriel's saying moneyline is parlay material, and Bob hit the nail on the head saying Manel's the beast. Yes, she is. And you guys hit it. You guys covered it for me. If Maya was going to proactively shoot takedowns, yeah, you don't line Fiorot at minus 500. She just doesn't do that as a fighter. We haven't seen her test on the ground too much. When we have seen her there, nothing much to love. But when you don't have to worry about that, her striking is going to be there all day. Maya is hittable. She may be tough, but she is hittable. I just see her winning here all day. It's hard to bet a minus 500. Maybe the parlay is the way to go. I just see her winning here all day. In my DGen parlays, when I'm betting on every single fight, I will take inside the distance for fun, because third fight of the night, and I called 2 decisions already. I want to finish here. I think that'll be fun. But I'll be realistic. Decision's probably the way it's going to go. I think it's going to be a fun fight, though. Lots of volume. Let's exactly see where she is, and let's see if Maya finally shoots a takedown or not. But I'm on Fiorot with you guys, and I hope she gets it done for us. All right, moving on. Fourth fight of the night. This is a fun one, actually. This is the one that's not on DraftKings yet. It's killing me for not being able to make my lineups. Please excuse me for butchering the name. Let's just call him Kurziev, 13-0. Dennis Julian, 10-5. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Phoenix, let's open this up with you. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I mean, the line's kind of whack now. I mean, the guy's minus 1,000. I mean, like, I think he smashes him here, but like Kurziev isn't like a guy that I think is amazing. I remember when he was going to fight Daukaus, like way back when, and Daukaus was the dog. I was going to be on Daukaus pretty heavy there. Like, I think Kurziev is good, but I mean, I don't really have like too much to say about this fight. Like, the line's whack. I mean, if you got in early, then that's probably better, but the other guy's not that great, and Kurziev looks like he has some decent, well-rounded game. Probably just finishes him early, to be honest, but I think the line's gone now.
Short and sweet, and but you're right. And I haven't done much line research the past couple of days. I locked everything in earlier in the week because I knew I was driving. I have Kurzi at minus 340 in a parlay. I just saw he's at minus 1,000.
It's insane.
Insane. I think that I think he wins. It's pretty obvious. I know that there's a big size discrepancy, but yeah, you're all the same height lying down, right? So I think that Kurzi is going to be able to get him grounded there. Vicious ground and pound. Good grappling game as well. A hugely superior grappling edge here. I think it's just a matter of how he wants to do it. I think the first round's not a bad look. I think the inside the distance is not a bad look. Is he playable at minus 1,000? No, probably not anymore. But I do think he wins. In terms of DraftKings, as soon as that salary's out there, he's in like 90% of my lineups. He should smash here. Should be fun. Should be a good debut. And finally, that finish I'm looking for in that live in-person card. Tim, you agree with me?
Yeah. I mean, I think that the KO line is the way to go. If the sub line is crazy juiced at this point, and the KO line is pretty off, and in these situations, it's the same thing. I mean, play at ITD because the line's really, really close, and then hope that the KO hits for you. I don't know the round because maybe he struggles a little bit in the first round, but the round 2 could possibly be there as well. I'm going to play devil's advocate though, real quick. Like, why is this guy minus 1,000 though? I mean, like in any capacity, I don't. That makes no sense whatsoever. So like anybody like. I mean, I'll be honest. I bet Bobby Green against Makhachev, and it's like one of those fights where you're like, I also bet Makhachev to win by inside the distance, but I also had the money line just as a hedge, and it's just one of those situations where it's like, how do you not bet Tululin as just a money line, just like throw a little $25 thing out there and just see what the hell happens? Like I understand the value bet at this point on him, but he's going to get killed most likely. But I understand anybody that's willing to take a dog shot on him at this point because that line's just absolutely insane.
Oh, you're right. It's so wide now, and he's making his debut, and where he does have the skills to win here. I didn't see this line move in the past couple of days, and that's insane. I knew it was going to move from minus 340. Last time I looked, it was minus 500, and I'm like, even that's wide. This is just almost unplayable. I think you revert to the DraftKings route. I think the KO line is the KO line any different from the sub in terms of how much value is that?
It's like plus 300 versus it was plus 300 versus like minus. It was like plus maybe 100 or minus 120 or something like that last I saw it.
My favorite
aspect, if you do like round 1, if you do like round 1 KO, it'd be like between 400 and 500 or something like that.
One of my favorite aspects of Kurzia's game is that ground and pound. It's vicious. I think if he gets on top, and like if Tillian's covering up the same way, who fought last week? Gunnar Nelson's opponent did last week. We're just covering the neck at all times. His ground and pound will get him out of there, no problem. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. The only bet I missed last week is Gunnar.
Yeah, that's such a painful fight to remember.
That whole fight was just killer. It's like Sato killed all the Gunnar hope, and then he also killed all like the layoff angle hope. He just killed everybody.
Hey, I won 14 units, and the only bets I missed were Gunnar inside the distance. Man, it would have been legendary, but it did hurt my feelings a bit because it was there. It was there. I know Kurziev will get him out of here. He won't play like Gunnar. I think he will get the finish, and I think that even at that, I think if you are playing him, his cardio is really untested as well. So if you are going to bet him, especially at minus 1,000, play the inside the distance, cut off maybe 400. What is he inside the distance? Maybe minus 350 inside the distance. Maybe the way to go. Like I mentioned, maybe just play him on DraftKings at this point. All right, moving along, fifth fight of the night. And honestly, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, the fight I have done the least research in. I was in the middle of taping this one when Liam texted me and said, "Hey, you should come down for the fights." And I didn't finish it, if I'm being honest. I thought I did not finish it. Just texted my girlfriend and said, "Hey, let's make the drive." Dana Batgirl, 12-2. Chris Gutierrez, 17-3-2. Phoenix, we'll start with you. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, this is the last one I haven't taped yet, but I'm good for the rest.
I was hoping you were going to cover my ass because I didn't finish taping it. I watched Gutierrez, lovely guy, but I did not see the other side completely. I am aware of Batgirl's. Sorry, it sounds like I'm saying Batgirl. Batgirl's power. I did watch the Batman a couple days ago. Maybe that's why I'm saying that. Batgirl's power is humongous. He's won his last 3 fights by knockout. Regardless, the first 2 were weaker competition, weaker chins, but that last knockout was really impressive. I like his power. Tim, you can be our saving grace here. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, good stylistic matchup. You're going to see a guy that hasn't been knocked out versus a guy that's got some really good power in his hands. As you said, he's going to come forward. He's going to want to pressure you. Chris has got some nasty leg kicks, and it's not his only way to go, but it's one of those situations where if he does connect on a couple early the right way, the striking and the movement of guys can be compromised. And over the length of the fight, I kind of lean that way. And he's got a great striking defense, and he's against guys that are like really good headhunters, and that's basically who he's fighting right here. He's very, very defensively responsible, and he's hard to connect on big shots, which is why he hasn't been knocked out in his career. Obviously, he's going to get knocked out in the first round and then first minute after I say that. But now, like he's very defensively responsible, and he likes his kicks. And I think that the decision for the decision prop for him, I've bet it light, but I think it's a good look. It's like plus 225. I don't think he finishes Dana here, and I think it's going to be a close fight though, so could go either way.
Yeah, I like you pointing that out. The one thing I mentioned, like I said, haven't finished taping Dana, but Gutierrez great leg kicks. It's all he does. It's one of the things he does best, and I really like that from him. Very, very talented striker. You mentioned the striking defense. I'm not going to say this with too much conviction because again, didn't tape the other side, but my initial read was either Gutierrez decision or Dana inside the distance. I did lock in some Gutierrez a decision as a Hail Mary bet for my fun little in-person bet, but no official play for me. I'm going to sit this one out from an official pick side. I appreciate Tim for covering my ass here. That was a very good breakdown. Thank you very much for that. And I'm hoping for some fireworks here. Dana seems to bring a good pace, a good amount of power, and I'm just hoping for some fun. There you go, Phoenix. When you finish your tape, you can message me and see if I'm on the right side there as well. But no, let's keep it rolling. I'm liking the pace we're going at here. This is one I'm really looking forward to as well. You have Sarah McMahon, 12-6, Carol Rosa, 15-3. You got vet versus prospect. Tim, take it away.
This is you know what? I hate when I bet, like some of my bigger bets are on violence in women's MMA. And then you sit back, you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And then some of my last biggest cashes in the last few months have been in that situation. So it's like, you get some insane lines sometimes. And I think there's some crazy lines in this one, actually. You have Sarah McMahon, who's obviously, she's a silver medalist in wrestling. She's so strong. Red flags, obviously, she's 41. Because she's a wrestler, she's got about 7 legit minutes to just go totally full rabies mode and getting what she wants to accomplish done. And then you see her just slowly starting to deteriorate. She also has some, I wouldn't say like heart issues, but like she has a little give up in her in some of these fights against really, really high level competition and dangerous grapplers as well. So I feel like the fight kind of matches up. In the beginning of the fight, I'm on McCann, and in the end of the fight, I'm on Hossa. So I like violence both ways. I think Hossa's live in round 3, maybe end of round 2. So I've bet both of those props. And then I've also bet the submission line on McMahon, and the sub in rounds 1 and 2 are just ridiculous lines, like just totally ridiculous lines. She's absolutely going to get this fight to the ground in the first round. I mean, unless she gets just meme KO'd with some shot, she's going to get the fight to the ground. It's just a question of what happens then. And I really feel like she's subbed way higher level black belts. I mean, like she's done it to was Alexis Davis she subbed, and it's just, I think these are situations where these guys are just way better on the ground than Carol Hossa. And if she gets it there, I think it's 17-1 on DK for round 1 sub, 8-1 on just sub prop alone. Round 2, if you want to hedge it, is like 23-1 on FanDuel. So I did both of those, and then I did round 3 at 14-1 for Hossa, and round 2 I think was like 9 or 10-1. So I want violence in this one, and if it's fight goes decision like 90% of women's fights do, I'll maybe need to move in with one of you guys.
That's music to my ears, man. I filmed my video a couple of days ago, and the first thing I talked about was this fight not going the distance. Love that plus money figure there. You hit all the points. I'm not going to go over it all again. You're killing it here. Let's see. McMahon, yeah, she's older. She's got great skill in those first rounds, cardio deficient. She just goes out there, loses usually in the third round. And Roche is this up and coming prospect who has volume, who has pressure, who's able to withstand that early onslaught usually. Huge step up for Rosa here, huge step down for McMahon. And for that reason, I think it's a really, really easy fight to call. If McMahon still has any of her goods in her and she's able to go out there and take her down early, she is the much better fighter, especially early on with all that cardio. I mean, she was favored against Nunes. She was favored against Pena. Like, she is a very skilled fighter. We all know that. If Rose is able to survive the early onslaught, she has a better cardio. She's the younger fighter, and she should be able to win in round 3. I have official plays. Took the fight not to go to decision plus 130 and Carol Rocha to win in round 3. And then for my fun there, I took Sarah McMahon out the distance. And one of my favorite DraftKings plays, underdog, is that Sarah McMahon play. I love it. Thank you for letting me know that, Tim. Bob's killing it here too. Sandy, you're the only one to pick Gutierrez. I agree, man. I appreciate you guys both coming on. This is amazing stuff to hear. But no, I'm on the fight does go to decision. Beautiful line there. I think it should cash pretty easily for us. Or I don't want to say pretty easily. I hope it does cash for us. Phoenix, do you agree?
Yeah. I have pretty strong opinions about this fight as well. I actually have a bet on McMahon at plus 185. I think the line is kind of a little bit absurd. I mean, McMahon was just favored. I mean, minus 130 over Pena. She's been favored pretty much over everybody recently. And now Carol Rosa's minus 200 over her kind of whack to me. I do agree that this fight ends inside the distance. I'm actually very much considering playing it, especially now with you guys agreeing as well. But to me, it's just like, Carol Rosa so far in the UFC has beaten nothing but bums. I mean, she beat Vanessa Mello, like not a UFC level fighter. She's beaten Betch Kohea in a kickboxing match, who was retiring. She's beaten Jocelyn Edwards, who has no ground game. She beat Laura Procopio in a fight where there was pretty much no defense being played. And then you go back on her regionals, and she's got subbed twice. I mean, she got out grappled by Pacheco. She got reversed pretty easily by Cindy Roca. And like McMahon, I understand that she's older, she gasses, but like you guys said, in the first round, like McMahon is the much better fighter and she should be able to take her down. I do think Rosa is a decent athlete. I think that she is relatively strong and she has decent offensive wrestling herself, but there's no way she's on the level of an Olympic silver medalist in McMahon, who's taken down and subbed way higher level competitors. And Rosa, like, I like her game. I think that her striking is developing. I think she should have the advantage on the feet pretty clearly here, especially later on in the fight. But to me, it's just like this line should be at worst like slight fave to Rosa. Like, I don't really see how you can make an argument for her being minus 200 here. I mean, like, McMahon is never this much of a dog, and it's not like now she hasn't fought in like 10 years and now she's 41. I mean, she's been old for a while now. So I mean, I don't really get the angle. I don't get why the line's so wide. I think plus 185 is a really good number, especially for the fighter that's probably going to be winning until she's not. I mean, I think she should be able to take her down. I mean, her wrestling's very good. I think she hits takedowns at like 65% clip. I mean, she's taken down, like that, like you guys said, much better level girls, higher level girls, and she's aggressive. And I just looked at the props, especially after Tim said they're off, and man, there's a lot of these props that are off. Like McMahon by KO plus 1200 is kind of whack to me. I mean, that crucifix transition she has is pretty nasty. I mean, she goes for ground and pound, she'll pounds away. I mean, against Vieira, she was like just raining down bombs like Alexander Romanov type style. Sub plus 700 is crazy. Inside the distance is nuts. And yeah, so I don't know. I might be on these props, but right now I'm just on McMahon. I'm probably going to join you guys on the violence. I think there's a good chance it hits. I think McMahon, as long as she has gas, is live to finish Rosa here. I mean, it's a huge step up for Rosa. Like, she's got to prove it, and that's why I don't get why she's minus 200 here. I mean, she's good. Don't get me wrong. She's young. She's up and coming. I mean, I think she's got a lot of good attributes and qualities to her game. But I mean, look at her. Look at the girl she's beating in the UFC. Like, she's coming off a kickboxing fight against Betch Kohea, man. Like, I don't understand how she's this big a favorite over McMahon, honestly. So I agree with you guys. I'm on McMahon. I'm probably gonna be on violence. I kind of like that spot too. And yeah.
Let's cash it. I love that. Frank saying, is Carol Rosa transgender? Charles, no, just because Carol Rosa. Sorry. Oh, I was gonna say I read that. No, come on, Frank. You know better. I hope it all cashes for us. I'm in the inside the distance here. Haven't locked in my MMA Lock of the Night challenge, but I'm debating that one. Another fight we'll talk about later too. I love that. I love my plus money plays in that, and I don't know what the line is now, but I got -130. Maybe I missed some line movement. My hotel Wi-Fi is not loading best fight odds. So does anyone know what the line is
Still
now?
+130 still.
Okay.
Plus,
All right.
yeah.
Well, then maybe I will. I like that, and I hope it all cashes for us. I'd love to see that happen too. All right, guys. Next fight of the night, we got the 25-8 Neil Magny, 18-8 Max Griffin. And if anybody's been following the channel for a while, you know that Neil Magny is not my favorite fighter. Honestly, he's one of my least favorite fighters in the UFC. Respect the guy. Respect everybody gets in the cage. I just don't like his style. I know he's a good fighter, but maybe he'll grow on me if he gives me a nice little fist bump on the walkout. I don't know about that. This is a fight where I have Magny by decision. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Phoenix, we'll start with you. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I'm with you. Magny by decision, -105. I'm also on the fight goes to decision at -200. I mean, to me, I think before I even got into the tape, I mean, Magny by decision was pretty much almost an insta bet. I mean, Magny's a decision machine. He's not really finishing a lot of people. I mean, he's not really KOing a lot of people. I think his last sub was like 2016 too, so I don't think he subs him. And Griffin's a tough guy. Only been finished once by Colby, and Magny's not that kind of wrestling pace style where he just pounds you like that. He's more of a clinch grinder kind of guy. But to me, yeah, I think Magny's just the better fighter. Honestly, I just think that he's better all around. I think Max Griffin's kind of that guy that's like, if you beat him, that's when you like start to fight the higher level guys, kind of. And if you can't beat him, then you've got some work to do. Because I don't really see anything that he does well. I mean, he has decent striking, but it's kind of like I feel like higher level guys can kind of see that right hand coming. I think his wrestling's okay, but he doesn't do anything great. He's kind of just like a well-rounded mid-tier guy. And Neil Magny is just a guy that, if there's one thing you got to like about him, it's his cardio. I mean, he can grind you. He can fight with range. He's always got the size advantage. He's got a gas tank for 10 rounds. And I just think that he wins the wrestling. I think he wins the clinch exchanges. I think he'll probably win the striking exchanges too, piecing up with the jab on the outside. If there's any concern I have, it might be the leg kicks. But I think Neil Magny by decision is way better than the money line, to be honest. I mean, Magny is like a decision machine, and Griffin's a tough guy to finish. I mean, the guy had a clean head kick from Morono on the button and just insta recovered. So I don't think he's easy to get out of there. And in terms of the fight goes to decision, I don't really see Max Griffin finishing him either. I mean, I don't really see Max Griffin as that potent of a finisher. I think Neil Magny is a hard guy to finish too. Like, he's only getting finished by like top level guys, and even then, he still stays strong. The only concern is maybe the leg kicks, if Griffin throws them. But it was kind of weird because in the Condit fight, he threw those leg kicks like really well for 5 minutes and then stopped. Like, they kind of went away, which was kind of weird to me because he was having a lot of success with them. So I don't know what that was, but I'm on Magny by decision and -105, and I'm on the fight goes to decision. I just don't really think either guy finishes here, and I think -200 should probably be more like -300, honestly. Like, I think Magny by decision is like 95% of his win equity. I think if there is a finish, it's probably from Griffin, but like I said, I don't really see Griffin winning the fight all that often, and if he does win, I think it's still kind of some weird close decision type fight. So I think the line's about right where it is, but yeah, I'm on goes to decision all around.
Love the breakdown. I think you killed it there. I think it was a decision too. We all know that Song Kanon win and that Brahim Maji injury. I mean, if that happens again, my girlfriend may run out of the building. So let's hope it doesn't. Tim, how do you see this one going down?
Yeah, that was a great breakdown, Phoenix. I love it. I'm on the same bet. I'm on Magny by decision. Same thought process exactly. You don't need to really add too much to it or rehash it. Agree with pretty much everything you said. The only thing I'd say is that Magny is one of those kind of guys that you like to bet on in MMA. Maybe they're not the most entertaining dudes, but they're great to bet on. So,
for sure. What do you guys think about Mba's point of Griffin being lined for a decision?
Could happen. I mean, I think it goes to decision.
I think it's a major win equity.
Yeah, I think if he wins, it's probably by decision. I think he has more finishing upside out of the two, but I mean, how does he really finish Magny here besides like maybe a leg kick TKO? Like, I don't really think he nukes him. Definitely doesn't sub him. I don't really see a lot of finish. So it's not bad if you're on his side, but he's big enough of a dog that I would probably just take the money line.
You might want to hit up the split decision on him if you're on him too. If you get up the points as well, because I don't know if he's winning a really clear cut decision, and the line would be great if it's plus 450. You're going to see like a plus 1,300 to like plus 1,700 most likely on a split.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a major win equity. I'm on the Magny side, so I'm not going to take it as much, but I do think it has decent value at plus 450 and the split decision as well. But let's keep it rolling. We're on to the main card now. We got a nice little 6-fight main card. First up, Mark Diakasey, 14-5 versus Slava Klaj. Vladislav Borachev, 6-1. Coming off of a remarkable finish of Dakota Bush. We all know Borachev. Great striker. I'm not going to say much about him. Getting a fun firefight here at Diakasey. And I'm seeing this is probably the most, like the tightest fight. And everyone's probably debating it online. And a lot of people are taking the dog Diakasey. My reasoning is very simple. I bet Dakota Bush against Borshev. And for that same reason, I have to take Diakasey here. He's shot takedowns in all of his fights. Got 4 against Lando Bonata, a guy who's got great takedown defense, just to name a few of them. If he goes for them, we all know he has a ground advantage, right? On the feet, I will favor Slava, but when you get that plus money, I do think Diakasey has a path to victory. Tim, we'll start with you. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I had a bet that I cashed out in this fight. I've been back and forth in this one, so I might just sit this one out. But I had my bet was KO for Slava. I cashed it out because, the reason I bet it was not only because Slava's got huge. There you go, Mbaye. Maybe I should get this back. You're sharp. I might get it back depending on how things go in the first few fights, or maybe I'll get back on the horse, but. I think that the striking there is a clear advantage for Slava. Alves just completely starched Diakasey before he decided to go head first into the dude's favorite move, and I just think that Diakasey's kind of flaky, and he can be really really good, and he can also be really really terrible, and you just don't know. I just don't rate necessarily his control that great. He might get takedowns. I just don't think he's going to be able to control Slava. I totally understand, absolutely, completely understand everybody betting the money line on Diakasey because the line doesn't seem right for a lot of different reasons. So I'm not touching the money lines. But from a prop standpoint, I usually like to hunt props, and I think I actually like 2. I like the KO for Slava, and I like the points potentially for Slava as well. If he just is able to stay away and just kind of hurt him, but not be able to finish him. So both those lines are pretty solid to me. But I have no
fair and okay. Yeah, I see everyone on Slava. I see a lot of people at Diakasey. It's pretty simple. It's striker versus grappler, but who's able to get off the game plan more? I think they both have distinct advantages. I do think it's decently close on the feet, but you got to favor Slava. I mean, he's a great striker. He's a coach for a reason. No official play, though. I tracked all my bets, bet on my tips earlier in the week. I'm not touching anymore. That is my official card. I'm leaving it there. I do have some untracked cash. Like I said, I'm betting on every single fight I'm here. Diakasey is my untracked bet on this one. I'm also taking us at the distance. I think I took him inside the distance just because I think that you have a guy who's getting the step up. Like Slava hasn't really faced anybody as good on the ground as Diakasey, especially if he goes for those takedowns. I know he's a good get-up game, but we haven't seen a lot from him. So the bet for me was just simply I bet Bush, got to bet Diakasey as well. I'm hoping for some violence. I haven't bet any violence, and I'm hoping for it. I'm probably just biased because I'm there. But Phoenix, how do you see them going down?
Yeah, I'm gonna I have a bet on this fight. It's a little bit different in opinion. I actually have the fight goes to decision at plus 150 here, and
I remember seeing that.
I'll give basically my rationale is, I think I understand that both these guys are very powerful, very dangerous guys. From the Slava side, right, he's got fast and powerful kicks, good hands, good body work. But Diakasey is a very durable guy, and the way I see it is Diakasey just went a hard 15 with Fiziev, ate some big shots to the body, and he was never really hurt in that fight. I think the last fight of where he kind of stumbled back with the jab, I kind of watched it like 8 times back to see if he got rocked or if he kind of just got caught off balance. And to me, it looked like he got caught off balance. I just think that he was stepping forward for a strike and he just got stuck back with a jab. So I don't think that's like his fading durability in any way. I don't really see why. So he's a very durable guy in my opinion. The only time he's ever been knocked down and really, really hurt in a fight was against Nasrat, who applied a very pressure heavy style against him. Like he was pushing up against the cage. And Diakasey is kind of a guy who if he's not able to kind of like get his striking off, if he's like put under pressure and someone's walking him down, he kind of doesn't like it. Like he can't really get his game off. I don't really see Slava doing that. Like Slava's not really that kind of guy to just completely pressure you like that. He's more of kind of just he's been pressured back in a lot of his fights too. He's kind of just like play the outside kickboxing, kind of like Fiziev in a way. But so my rationale for that is kind of like if Fiziev's not finishing him, I don't really see Slava finishing him unless he hits him clean. And I'm not saying he can't. Like he's a very powerful guy. I mean, very good hooks, everything. So he definitely could. It's just I don't necessarily think that it's an insta finish. I think to me personally, the way I see the fight going is I think it's going to be a chess match, kind of both guys fighting for position to land their strikes. And to me, the reason I favor Slava here is I just think that for every one strike Diakise lands, Slava might land 2 to 3. Diakise's volume is kind of very inconsistent. I mean, sometimes he just won't throw. Like he has good striking. I just wish he would let it go more. But he's competitive with a lot of good guys. Like he's a weird fighter. Like he was competitive with Fiziev. He took a round off of him. I mean, the second round was even close. I mean, the second round was even according to UFC stats on their strikes landed. So to me, I think it's going to be a competitive fight. Obviously, both guys could get hurt bad and get finished. I mean, Slava's durability is a little bit of a question mark. He has been hurt in a lot of his fights, but I do think he's tough. Like I don't think like he may get hurt a bunch, but he doesn't seem like a guy to me that would just give up, in my opinion. And like you said, I think Diakise could maybe mix in some wrestling, slow the pace down. I don't know if he's going to have any success with the wrestling because, Diakise, he's got decent takedowns, but he's not really a threat to do anything with them. And I think Slava's first level takedown defense is pretty shocking, but I think his get up game is pretty good. I think it's improving. Like he doesn't accept the position. So to me, I don't know. I think the fight goes to decision, should be aligned basically evens, maybe even a slight favorite. I think both guys could like get hurt, but I just feel that, it's going to play out kind of slow, kind of just, shots on the outside. I don't really see them like swinging in the middle or anything like that. Both guys are kind of like calculated, slow, pick their shots kind of guys. So unless someone gets hit like clean on the button, which could very well happen, like I said, I think there's value at plus 150 on the fight goes to decision personally.
Definitely a hot take. Any thoughts on that one, Tim?
Yeah, I think you may have talked me into Slava by points because I was right on the edge of Slava by KO, Slava by points, but I might join you on that one now.
Love it. I think it's going to be a fun fight to watch. Definitely the first instinct, especially when you're seeing Slava, is that finish. So it wasn't what I was expecting. I did read your breakdown, and I love what you were just saying about it. Still going to take my DKCs at a distance. I'm not very smart, but I think that it'll be a fun fight. I hope it cashes, but yeah, I think that's a very good take you have there. Yeah, Cage My IQ. What's up, my brother? Take down the sort of edge, but a portion of his power. Yeah, you guys mentioned DK's might not be able to do it, but we've seen Bush have very good get-up game, but he hasn't fought anybody to this level. So many question marks. I think you guys have made great points.
How would you guys rate like Slava striking versus Nasrat? Like if it was just striking battle between those two.
Very different styles, and I think
that's where I think that he styles on Nasrat on the feet.
I think he definitely they're two different styles, right? You have I think Nasrat will bring the pressure, but he boxes so close, and that's exactly I think Membe mentioned it, right? Yeah, Slava likes to be in the pocket. Like as soon as Nasrat he gets hit just as much, right? So whereas he may have the forward pressure and that durability.
It's a similar to this fight. That's kind of why I'm leaning Slava in this fight. This similar deal. Like you watch that fight, and it's similar. Like Fiziev's like usually knocking dudes out with his kicks, and it's more than his hands. Like his kicks are just nasty. And that's a similar situation where the body work and the hands of Slava are just a little bit. They're not underrated, but like he's really, really good striking.
Yeah. Case, I think that Nasrat fight here is Nasrat's a fighter who's a pressure boxer, but not with a lot of power, right? So I think that fight's a really interesting dynamic that I haven't really looked into that much, but I think it's really clear to see that. Yeah, Slava just counter him like crazy because Nasrat does get hit. I think it's different than here because Nasrat wouldn't shoot for any takedowns, I don't think. I think Diakise definitely will, especially if he gets stumbled. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm very excited for that fight. It's a good one to kick off the main card, too. All right, next fight up. The man, the myth, the legend. Maybe the guy that I'm like excited to see the most, even though I know this fight has a lot of potential to be boring. I love Alexei Oleinik, 59, 16, and 1, facing Ilir Latifi, 15 and 8. And Like I'm betting on every fight. I've told you guys this. And that means I have to have a bet on Alexei Oleinik. I can't believe I said that. That's the one I haven't played yet. I'm gonna text my apologies for the music nearby. I think that's the one that I'm gonna text my roommate to bet it for me because I don't think I can bet it here. Because I was waiting for the line to move, but it's gonna be fun. We all hope for that Oleinik finish. Hard to choke out a guy with no neck, though. I'm completely aware of that. Yes, it has the opportunity to be boring. It could very easily go all three just because they're fight styles. But I'm hoping for some violence. I'm hoping for a classic Oleinik win. Hopefully, pulls it out of the bag. We'll see how it goes. Phoenix, we'll start with you. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I have another +150 if I go the decision ticket here, and I actually feel kind of confident in a way. Like, to me, I really looked at this. I kind of broke down like each like the KOs of both and the subs of both like potentials, and the conclusion I got to was like I started off with Latifi knockout, and I actually like kind of disagree with the whole like if Oleinik gets hit like clean, like he's kind of done. Like I don't really necessarily think he's like he's definitely not like incredibly durable, but I don't think he's like chinny to the point where like he's just gonna get knocked out by anything. Like I mean, I think like the guys that he's getting knocked out to, I think those are just guys that are just bound to knock him out. I mean, Chris Daukaus, like Walt Harris, guys that are super quick inside. Like I don't really see Oleinik having a chance there. I mean, Derek Lewis. I mean, it's Derek Lewis. I don't really hold too much into that. Overy hit him with a body shot and finished him. I don't really think Latifi's going to do that. Blaydes kind of just ground and pounded him in that fight, I believe. But the way I see the fight going is it's kind of a weird dynamic. Like I don't necessarily think that unless Latifi hits him with like a clean hook or something like that when he's like rushing in, I don't really necessarily think that he finishes him because I think we can agree that if Latifi gets on top of him, I mean, when Latifi gets on top of guys with no ground game, he doesn't do anything. I mean, I don't really think he's going to like try to advance position and potentially get sub when he's facing Oleinik. Like he's on top of Tanner Bozer, it's on top of Derek Lewis. I mean, guys that are no sub threat off their back at all, and he's just laying on them. So I think if he gets on top, he's not really going to present much of a TKO threat. And unless he gets like clipped hard with like a shot, I don't really think he's going to get knocked out here. Like I don't think Latifi's the kind of guy who, if he hurts Oleinik, is going to like bum rush him with like combinations like Daukaus did. Like I think that he maybe would just walk him, stand there, and still do nothing. Like Latifi doesn't throw any volume, so unless he hits him clean, knocks him out, I don't think that's overly likely of an outcome. In terms of Oleinik knocking him out, I don't really think that's overly likely of an outcome. I think Latifi's pretty durable, actually. I mean, he ate some big shots at heavyweight so far. His chin's held up. I mean, the way he's getting knocked out are pretty brutal knockouts, to be honest. And, Oleinik doesn't have too much power. I don't see him scoring a positional TKO here, so I don't necessarily rate that outcome overly high. Latifi's not going to sub Oleinik. Like, if Latifi subs Oleinik, then, like, it is what it is. I mean, guys like 76 pro fights, been subbed twice, like, legit black belt. Like, I don't think he's going to get subbed at anything like that. And then in terms of an Oleinik sub, I mean, I think it could happen, but I mean, if you look at the Spivak fight, like Spivak almost got subbed twice at the end of the round, but other than those like momentary sub attempts, like Oleinik was kind of just couldn't really do too much. And I think Latifi's really going to play it safe. I mean, I don't really like you, and even like you said, he doesn't have a neck. Like he's going to be hard to like choke in that manner. And I just think he stays safe. The only problem is he kind of puts his arms on the mat when on top, which is kind of scary in terms of like guys that can grab it and get arm bars. But basically, just my rationale is I just think that the fight on the feet, my whole idea of the fight is kind of whitewash. Like I think Oleinik's best chance of winning the fight is actually on the feet, believe it or not. Like I think he throws a ton more volume. I don't think Latifi really much throws anything. And unless he hits him clean, like I said, and like knocks him out, like I think Oleinik's favored on the feet. Like Oleinik, I mean, his last win was a volume-based decision, basically. And I think on the ground, like Latifi's like super, super tough to take down. 100% takedown defense, strong hips, Greco wrestler. Like I don't think Oleinik's going to have much success getting Latifi to the ground. So I think if the fight does go to the ground, it's going to be Latifi on top, which is obviously you're losing minutes when you're on bottom. So unless he secures a sub, I think he's going to be losing minutes here. So I think his best chance, honestly, is to strike. I don't think he's necessarily going to do that, but I think this fight's going to have a lot of clinch exchanges where they're battling in the clinch. I think this fight's going to have a lot of, Oleinik going forward and Latifi kind of just covering up, maybe throwing a hook back and missing or something like that. And I honestly think it goes to decision. I mean, I kind of just broke it down each outcome, but it could obviously finish. I mean, it's heavyweight. It's Oleinik. I mean, Oleinik's been in a lot of finishes recently, but I don't know. Give me Latifi by an ugly decision.
Awesome. I love the breakdown. I apologize for the SoundCloud rappers in the other room blasting music. I'm going to let Tim take this one over. I'll talk after.
Yeah, I love the takes. I- I'm actually kind of, I mean, I'm in agreement. Like, I think that this fight does go the decision. And I bet actually some insane lines. I kind of lean the Latifi side that he does win by decision in some like really slow, ugly way. But I love chasing Lambos, man. I really do. I love going for big shots. And you giving me like 8-1 on uh, Alexi by decision is just insane. Like, because he's not going to get him down on his. He's not going to take him down. He could get taken down, like you're saying, and controlled. It standing on the feet, like I totally agree. He's got a volume edge, and he's going to throw 3 times, maybe 4 times as many strikes as Latifi. And Latifi just like it's amazing how little he does. It's just it's incredible how. And I understand like people say it's stylistic. He's fighting different guys that he wouldn't want to strike with. He also didn't strike against guys that he could strike against. So like he just rarely goes for very much. So I like the 8-1 on points, and an insane number is the split decision prop on this fight because they don't. It's like I'm no joke. I think it was like 35-1 for Olenek. Is like all day. Like I'll just for sure. Why not? Why
That's
not?
a Lambo.
Yeah, like if he, I mean, you're saying that this fight couldn't be a close decision. I totally think it could. So I took a shots on both of those. I think I'm going to hedge on the other side lightly with like a KO1 and then points on Latifi to see if I can just even my money out if that side wins, and then go for the big shot on Alexi.
Love it, man. Love the breakdowns of both you guys. I see a shoey bet, and I got to address that right away. We love a shoey bet. Pulled off the scarf over Ezekiel, Tiffy to a whiskey shoey. Oh, love that. I know you're saying no neck for the win. I had to do a shoey last week. I don't know if you guys saw that with Dan. Oh well, shoeys are fun, right? Out of the running shoes, though, I got a designated shoey. I'm a professional at this, I guess. But no, I'm with you guys. It's a tough fight to call. It's probably going to be a Latifi decision, but no one wants to see that, right? No one wants to see him wrestle him for
I
15
do.
minutes. But yeah, you do. You want to financially want to play, but in reality, we want to see that Ezekiel. I would love to see an Ezekiel live. That'd be so cool. Don't think it happens though. Let's be realistic. I will be cheering for Olenek. I hope he does well. I love the calls from you guys. I'm going to leave the people with that because I'm not going to throw in any more nonsense because I am cheering for Olenek. But hope you guys both cash your bets. Hey, if Olenek wins a split decision, you guys both get rich, right? So there you go. Maybe Tim a bit more than Phoenix, but I think that's a fun outcome for you guys, not for much for me. But I hope it's a
Yeah,
fun
I'll
fight.
buy you guys dinner. I'll buy you guys dinner if Olenek gets that split. No worries.
All right,
We're all
perfect.
good there.
Awesome.
Sounds good to me. Next fight up. This is the people's main event. This is a super fun one. Askar Askarov, 14-0-1. Kai Kara France, 23-9. Kai Kara France fresh off that knockout win over Cody Garbrandt. Askar Askarov could be fighting for a title sometime soon if they didn't book a quadrilogy? Is that what it's called? Askarov, we know he is great fighter, solid ground game, flows very good in transition, does everything very, very well. Kai Kara France, lots of power, shows some good knockouts, but shows a ground efficiency. I'm going to steal the spotlight before Phoenix does. I'm on Askarov sub here. Suck it. Tim, we'll start with you. How do you see them going down?
Stole it right there, man. I love it. Askarov by sub.
You too?
Give it
All three of us?
Yep.
Awesome.
Give it to me all day long. I mean, I just don't. I think the setup, the last match for Kai was a clear setup, and I think, I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, there's a narrative that he's got crazy hands and the best hands in the division and the most powerful hands in the division. Like, the dude didn't get a knockout for 10 fights before the last 2 fights, and he caught Bontarin after he kind of gassed after he had the sub and was going for the subs in the first round. And I just think I don't know. I'm unsure if he's got really great hands or not right now. I'm not going either way on that. What I do know is that he can be taken down. And I know that once he is down on the ground, he's susceptible to being subbed, and he's got very, Asker. The only question in my mind is how aggressive Asker is going to be in this situation, because that's my only hesitation, is that I might add to the bet, but right now my only hesitation is that he might try to control him and actually hold him down in certain situations instead of, positionally, instead of going for the submissions. So that's my only concern at this moment. But I like that was the fight I was talking about earlier, where if I'm going to sweat on a, 1.5 unit bet, I'd rather have it be on a plus 360 or plus 380 than a minus 110 or, plus 120 or something like that. So got the sub prop. Let's get it. Let's get some violence. Let's get that rear naked choke.
Love the sub prop. Stole it from Phoenix. Stole it from you. Said it first. Mine. No, I'm just kidding. Love the breakdown. Phoenix, what do you got to add to that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my whole rationale is similar too. I just think that, if you look at Askarov's UFC opponents, I mean, Joseph Benavidez, Brandon Moreno, Tim Elliott, and Alexander Pantoja. Like, those are 4 legit grapplers, like 4 very good grapplers. And now he's taking on Kai Kara France, and his sub prop is plus 360 because he has 4 decisions. Like, he's not going to sub Brandon Moreno. He's not going to sub Pantoja. I mean, he's not going to sub Benavidez, and he almost did. I mean, like, it's crazy to me that the sub prop is that wide after he's taking a massive step down in terms of grapplers. I just don't think that Kai is, is like ready for what Askarov is going to do to him. I mean, Askarov is a beast, man. And, I like what Tim said too with the whole, he's got crazy power. And I mean, but he's only been getting these KOs. And I mean, like you said, like the Bond 3-1 was kind of a weird one where he got dominated the entire round, kind of got up and just hit him with a big shot when he was already starting to gas. And then he knocks out Cody Garbrandt, who was clearly compromised, probably from the weight cut. His chin is suspect anyways. I mean, Askarov, I said it on Twitter like a couple days ago. Askarov's striking has come a long way from his regionals to the beginning of his UFC to the fight against Benavidez. Like, he started implementing that body kick, which is absolutely nasty because he hits that at a very high percentage accuracy. He can hit 1-2s from either stance, and his wrestling is great. I mean, I think his back tates are great. I mean, Kai Kara France has decent like first level takedown defense, but I think if Askarov stays persistent, like, he's got a massive grappling edge. Like, I understand people taking shots on Kai and saying the line is wide because, I mean, on the feet, it's close. I mean, I think I still favor Askarov on the feet, if I'm being honest. I think his striking is very good now, but I can see Kai also beating a volume based decision on the feet. But if he like pursues grappling very consistently here, like, he's going to look minus 1,000 if Kai can't stop these takedowns. So that's what kind of like where the line's coming from, in my opinion. So yeah, I have Askarov by sub. I think the line's stupid, to be honest. I think he's taking a massive step down in terms of grappling competition. He's just faced 4 legit grapplers, and France is like not really like not great. He's been sub multiple times before. I think Askarov's up next. I also think that Askarov's coming to make a statement, man. I mean, with all this, Moreno and Figgy fighting again, I mean, Askarov probably feels like he's never going to get a shot. So I think he's going to come and make a statement. I mean, he's battling kind of. I don't really know why Pantoja would get the shot over him. I know some people were saying Pantoja, like, he beat Pantoja, and he's about to beat Kai Kara France too, in my opinion. So I think he subs him. Probably round 2. I could see him winning a decision, but yeah, I think he subs him.
Love to hear it, man. I think that's going to be a really, really fun fight to watch. On the feet, yes, Kai Kara France is very dangerous, man, but grappling's night and day. And I think a guy in Askarov's a guy I love to bet on because he's so good at knowing what to do and implementing it. His fight IQ is off the chart. He's so well-rounded, he's able to take it anywhere. On the feet, there's a very, very slight discrepancy. Meanwhile, on the ground, he has that huge advantage. Askarov rounds out that parlay I mentioned with Kurziev earlier. Askarov, Kurziev, those are the 2 guys I'm liking this week. I like them all around. I think they both get it done. Got that line decent. I think it's like minus 130 or something like that earlier. Not like that anymore. But no, it is like that. I think that Kai Kara France gets his back all the time when he tries to get up. Askarov flows so well in transition, so well on top. HMIQ said, yeah, favorite position over attack on the ground. Yeah, sometimes that position is good. He's going to advance position and better his chance for that sub. Kai Kara France will try to get up. He wants to on the feet. Kai Kara France definitely does. And in doing so, he'll get up the back. I'm with the sub with you guys as well. I hope it hits. It'll be a big payday for all of us. But I did take his money line in my parlay just to be safe because of that position over attack. All right. Worth by sub compared to inside the distance. I don't know how different the line is. I haven't checked recently.
It was like plus 220 versus plus 300 on DK, and then like a little bit worse on FanDuel.
Yeah, Kai Kara France is a pretty tough guy, so I think that the sub is definitely the most, let's say, the best value, especially in the most probable outcome in terms of my opinion. If you're looking for a finish, I don't think he knocks him out too much of the time. I think that sub is definitely live. All right. Going to watch weight Darren too. Me too. I think that's also good for me to know. I know someone mentioned about trouble making weight. Yeah, I think it was Mbaye. We'll have to see how that plans out. But for now, give me Askar off all day. 3 fights left. Next up, Matt Brown, 23-18-0. Brian Barberena, 16-8. Matt Brown fighting in Ohio in front of his home crowd. Excited to see this one go down. Very popular bet this week is another one I'm on. I got the fight as no decision at -138. Ballooned up. I love my spot there. Phoenix, will start with you. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I'll be short with this one. I don't have a bet on this fight. It's kind of a weird one for me. I think Matt Brown is going to be the guy going forward. I think Matt Brown probably lands the harder shots. I think Barberena probably has a volume advantage. I think Matt Brown could maybe mix in some takedowns, but I don't have a great read on this fight. It's kind of just a weird one. I can see it going into a bunch of different ways. I was actually potentially considering, if the line kept blooming, the fight actually goes to decision. But I'm personally going to stay away just because, I mean, Matt Brown's hometown, Barberena's willingness to engage in a brawl, Matt Brown's, brawler tendencies. It's so much could go wrong with it. But I'm staying away. I favor Matt Brown ever so slightly, but I can see a bunch of different things happening in this fight, to be honest.
Love it. I'm glad you didn't bet that fight goes to decision because don't like being head-to-head with you on that one. Tim, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not racing to the window to bet either side on this one, money line wise. I took a little a light stab at the inside the distance for Matt Brown, and I just, I don't know. I don't know the narrative on the durability. I know that he doesn't take shots well to his body and things like that, but the dude's been knocked out like 3 times. It sounds like the narrative this week, when I've heard from a lot of people, is like, oh, he's so chinny, and he's always going to get, he's so not durable and all this stuff. It's like, okay, I mean, I'm not necessarily seeing that, but I know that he's 41. I'm not betting on that. So I do think that the Barberena side is like, he's just a different fighter since getting knocked out by Luque and Brown. Like, I just think it's like broke him. Like, and getting knocked down by Witt wasn't a good look. Not being able to knock out Witt is also not a good look. So I just think that the more dangerous shots, I kind of agree with Phoenix, the more dangerous shots are going to come from Brown. And I think he's gonna try to get the kill in front of his home crowd. So nothing big on it, but just took a stab.
Love it. You guys mentioned it, fighting in front of that home crowd. He's done so, and he's finished a lot of the time. Yes, he's old, but I think when you look at it, Barberena's been fighting like the older fighter. Like he's been on a decline. He hasn't been looking that well. I know he's had his own injuries, and I'm not going to hate on him for it. He's had a tough career, but you look at it. You got a 41-year-old with power. Usually those fights end, and at -138, give me that all day. I think that, yes, when the line did open, Brown is a much bigger underdog, but I think even at that, I think I did have a bet on Brown when it first opened up. Sucks that it's not the same price tag anymore, but it's a tough one. I think that you give me the older fighter in front of his home crowd. Sure, I'll take the fight as a decision. If I had to pick a side, let's cheer for some Matt Brown here, but not with too much conviction. I think that in his prime, Barberena is a great fighter. We all know that. I think he's able to do it here, but something's up with him recently. I can't put my hard-earned money on it. So we're going to pick Brown in front of his home crowd, but let's just give me some violence on this one. All right, 2 fights left. The co-main event, Joanne Wood, 15-7. Alexa Grasso, 13-3. This is a fun one. I'm seeing a lot of conviction on the Grasso side. Tim, do you agree with that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the line might be a little bit wide, but Joanne Wood is kind of got like one foot out the door, it seems. And to me, I love betting against fighters in that situation. The striking is going to be, there's going to be a ton of volume, obviously, from Joanne Wood in this situation. She might actually like outstrike her by a significant amount, but it's going to be a lot of pitter patter and little like leg kicks that don't really do anything. And I think the more significant shots and the more damaging shots will be from Grasso, and I think she'll move forward more often. I have bets on Grasso and some money line parlays with, just to kind of get the line down. I'm pretty confident that she wins. There is a line that I hedged on that I thought was kind of hilarious. The split decision for JoJo is like 14-1. on DK, and it's like I just don't. I say it every week. I literally say it every week. Like there's certain split decision lines I just don't understand. Like this is one I just don't understand. Like if she wins, isn't that her path? Like is winning some greasy decision that she outstrikes somebody and takes way more damage. Like so I bet that actually pretty hard. I bet that like for a half of a unit just as a hedge because I'm on about 2.5 units to 3 units on a parlay with the Grasso side. And I also think that there might be a round 3 potential for Grasso if things go well because of the 1 foot out the door for Wood. I think that I took a light stab at that, but I think the Grasso by points it would be my pick.
Well, funny you say that because we got a standing TKO here and a sub, 2 finishes on the Grasso side. Don't care how it is. I'm on Grasso as well. Pretty popular pick this week. Nothing too out of the ordinary for me. I have her parlayed up with Emmanuel Ferriot. I think it's a good bet with the 2 women's fighters together. I think it's going to be fun. That's all I got to say. It's going to be a fun fight. Grasso's a girl who's better defensively, got a good boxing chop. I counted her out last time, and I shouldn't. She really impressed me, and she's going to have the clear defensive and output advantage here. I think she got this one all day. Phoenix, take her home.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I think Grasso should be like minus 300 here, honestly. And my reasoning is I went into tape actually thinking I was gonna bet on Joanne just because she does throw a lot of volume. Maybe there's some recency bias with her getting sparked by Santos, but I mean, coming out like this is my rationale. I think Grasso is faster. I think Grasso is stronger. I think she's younger. I think she throws more powerful. I think she is more powerful. I think she lands the optically better strikes. I think she has much better striking defense. I think she has the grappling advantage, and I think she has more finishing upside. I think on the feet, sure, JoJo's going to be throwing, a lot of volume, but as Tim said, it's kind of things that don't matter. Plus, I think that the strikes she throws are perfect for Grasso. I think her naked kicks to the body are going to be met with a nice left hook every single time. I think that Grasso, as I said, she lands much harder strikes, much more optically pleasing fights. And Joanne Wood just doesn't really have a style that, judges like. I mean, the fact that she lost the decision to Murphy just proves that. I mean, she clearly outstruck her, but like her strikes don't do anything. She has no finishing upside ever on the feet. Like she's volume, nothing else. And, I just think that honestly, I was thinking of betting, Grasso by sub 2. I mean, if Joanne Wood goes for some takedowns, I mean, Grasso has no subs in her career, but she goes for them, and she is a decent grappler. She almost had she had our spars on a full armbar. We've seen Wood get armbarred multiple times. She went for subs against Barber as well. I mean, Grasso, if the fight hits the mat, she is proactively hunting for subs. She goes for subs, and Joanne Wood, all of her finish losses, I think, have all been by sub. Besides the all of her finish losses have been by sub. So I think it's like plus 900, something like that. I was thinking about it. Don't know if I'm going to because I do think that she can win by points. I think that she can win by knockout. It was just something maybe to throw out like a quarter unit or something like that. But like I said, I have a bit of her money line straight at like minus 210 or something like that. I have her in a parlay with someone else, the next fighter coming up. But yeah, I like Grasso. I just think that I think if Joanne Wood's going to win this fight, like you said, it's going to have to be some greasy, split decision kind of fight. And I just don't, unless she's like completely outstrikes her by like 60 odd strikes, like she just has a style that judges don't like. Like, would you rather a naked body kick and a leg kick, or would you rather a left hook that stuns you? I mean, that's kind of how I see it. So I like Grasso here. Grasso, I think at flyweight is much better too. I think she fills out way better there. So
what's the chances you think that? What do you think the chances are that this fight hits the ground? Like, and who takes it there?
I think if someone does engage in the grappling, I think it might be Joanne. I think she does shoot takedowns relative, like kind of frequently. I don't quote me on that. I think she lands a decent. I'm gonna check on that to be honest.
Yeah, one and a half takedowns attempted per fight.
Yeah, at 55% clip, and I mean, she's gone for before her last 2 fights. I mean, Santos she's not taken down, and Murphy, I mean, she was trying to avoid getting taken down. She landed one against she landed one against Maya, she landed 2 against Lee, 3 against Chuk, 1 against Lipsky. So she's landing takedowns too. So I don't necessarily think it's a high probability it hits the mat, but I think if it does hit the mat, I think Grasso sub is live. Honestly, I think Grasso attacks subs very well, and I think she's actually a pretty good grappler.
So fair. Grasso, I love the call.
I'm going Grasso armbar for the.
Ooh. For all the marbles.
I'm going to take a shot at that. I'm going to tail Mbaye and Phoenix on the sub prop. Just take a little shot. Some lunch money.
Hey, there you go. I love the calls there. We're seeing a few things here. Would coming back soon? Yeah, I could see that too. I know that John's saying decision here. What's up, John? I'm trying to get my camera look like you today. Oh wow, that's how you know I've been driving for 10 hours. I try to show you guys what my camera looked like. Oh my. Dalton saying like Grassel here in the parlay as well. I think that's a perfect way to target it. I have a bit of lunch money on Grasso here and a few parlays. So if I wanted to hedge it, Tim pointed out the perfect way to do so. But I am on Grasso here. Seems like we all are. I love it when we all agree. Maybe a sub for some money there. Maybe some more action, some more violence for the in-person card. But decision is most likely the outcome, in my opinion. I think that's how it goes. And let's just hope for a good fight. Let's hope Grasso gets it done for us. And with that, we're at the main event of the evening. Curtis Blaydes 15-3, Chris Daukaus 12-4. One thing they have in common is they both got black beasted recently. One worse than the other. Actually, no, they're both pretty bad. Oh, come on. I was gonna say one worse than the other. Probably the Blaydes one was worse, but they're both bad. Blaydes, we know his gameplay. Best wrestler division, great accuracy. He's a great wrestler. Chris Daukaus shows really good hand speed. 4 fights, all finished by first round KO or TKO. Do we see a 5th one in a row? First round KO, TKO? Phoenix, start with you.
Maybe not first round, but definitely second or third, in my opinion. I mean, I love Blaydes here. I mean, I have him in 2 parlays with Askarov. I think I have 1.5 units at like -150, and with Grasso like at -115 or something like that. And then I have him inside the distance. I mean, I get the whole Blaydes, sometimes can be positional and get decisions here, but I mean, he's got 5 rounds. Like, I don't really see. I think Daukaus was always overrated personally. I mean, I think his UFC wins haven't aged great. I mean, Shamil was kind of already on the decline. Olenek, I mean, again, if you're going to beat Olenek, putting a guy in front of him with hand speed and power is kind of recipe for disaster. I mean, Nascimento isn't great, not really a striker. And then Parker Porter, who's Parker Porter. So I just think that on the feet, it's pretty competitive. I still think I might favor Blaydes. I mean, I think Blaydes is definitely going to be the one pressing forward. I think Blaydes' striking is actually very good. I think he has a good jab, good feints, mixes everything up. I think he's durable too. I get he has 3 knockout losses, but you look at those losses. I mean, that Lewis uppercut's knocking out anybody on the planet. He lost a doctor stoppage, and he lost a fight to Ngannou where he wasn't even out. I mean, I kind of thought it was a little bit of an early stoppage, but I kind of also get it. But point is, he wasn't out. And I mean, how can you not think that Blaydes doesn't just take him down and grapple him? I mean, if you look at Daukaus' tape, there's no footage of him like on his back that I found since his loss in 2015 against Teed, in which he was taken down and pressured and literally wilted in the second round. Just wasn't even like that good of a fighter. Like, he just wilted and he just gave up because of the pressure. So I get, like, that was 7 years ago. He could have improved since then. I get that. But he's also had no MMA experience of him fighting off of his back since then in an actual fight. And now you're giving him the best wrestler in the division for 5 rounds and he's supposed to survive. I don't really get it. Like, I think Blaydes gets on him. And I think once Daukaus gets tired, I think the fight's over. Like, I think once he's tired, his striking is not going to be as effective. I mean, I think he's going to put up no resistance on the mat once he's exhausted. And if Blaydes doesn't drop down elbows and he just lies there and does nothing, I'm going to be so angry because, like, he better do that. Like, I don't see how I get the shots on Daukaus. Maybe it's wide, but I just don't see how I personally just, like, I have Blaydes like near 85-90%. Like, Daukaus isn't like a one-punch knockout guy in my opinion. And sure, he's like quick and like he has power. Like, it's heavyweight, anything can happen. But I think Blaydes is durable and Blaydes is also fast. Like, it's not like Daukaus is going to be able to like get his way in and Blaydes is just going to be stuck in quicksand. Like, Blaydes moves. Like, Blaydes fakes and feints. Like, he's good. And I think once he gets the wrestling going, like, he's also heavier than Chris Daukaus too. Like, we saw what that weight advantage did against Volkov. Like, Volkov, who actually has okay takedown defense, like, he just gained a bunch of weight and then his takedown defense got better. Like, I just think that Blaydes is gonna drown him, melt him. Like, I don't really see how this fight. Like, I don't see if Daukaus like gets him, cool, but I think Blaydes got to be a big favorite here. Like, I think the line is more than justified. I think he should be -600, 700.
What happened last time you were this convicted on a Daukaus brother fight?
Man, I bet Kyle Daukaus like every fight, man. Like, I don't talk about that fight, man. That haunts me, man.
Which fight is
this? Phil Haas. The very first live stream we did together, I think it was. We thought Phil Haas would gas out, and guess what? He didn't. Anyways,
I was going to say, because I just cashed on Daukaus by sub over Pickett.
Yeah.
Yes,
No, this is
I cashed his money line, but I like Daukaus as a fighter. I just could not believe he gassed. Like, I couldn't believe he gassed in
Oz
Austin.
is just tough to wrestle, man. He's just not. He's not.
I
easy
didn't
to
expect
wrestle.
him to do that. I didn't expect him to just wrestle him the whole time. I don't know why he didn't just
I got
strike
you
at
riled
range.
up.
He hurt him.
My bad, bro.
He hurt him in the first round. Whatever. Blaydes by domination. Blaydes by ground and pound elbow Overeem style destruction.
Love it. Timothy, you agree?
Absolutely. He's 25 pounds heavier. He's more athletic. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. He's 1 year younger. There's not a lot to, like, I mean, I totally agree with Phoenix. Like, Daukaus was a standing KO against Alexei Oleinik. It wasn't like a one-shot power. It was just hitting him 100 times and dude just not stop defending himself. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take one of those type of shots to knock out Blaydes, and I totally agree that the chin is not the question. He's been knocked out 3 times, and one was, just literally would kill anybody on the planet. And he shot that takedown from like the third row in the stands. So it wasn't a good shot. If Blaydes loses this fight, he will be the fighter that has lost me more money than any other fighter, though. I will say that. So I hope he doesn't lose his fight. I have the same bets, Phoenix. I've got inside the distance because the KO lines like 20 cents better. So I went with inside the distance. And then I also hit KO 1 through 3 on FanDuel. And I think it was like plus 160. I think that's a great line.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hit that up, and then all the same reasons. I mean, I just think that whether or not he gets him out in the first takedown or not, I don't know if that's going to be the case. But by round 2 or round 3, here's the thing: if he hasn't gotten him out by round 3, I don't know if he gets him out in round 4 or round 5. Because maybe they're both gassed at that point. So I'm really with you, Million. I'm on the same boat, man. I'll be pretty screaming at the screen if he's not going for elbows and going for ground and pound and trying to get himself in the right position.
I have a ton of units on this fight doesn't go to decision. Let me just say that. I got 3 on the inside the distance at minus 105. Welcome to Columbus, folks. Hopefully that goes away soon. Got
For
that.
your neighbors.
It's for the SoundCloud rappers over there. We got that. And then we have, I got 3 units on the fight to go decision, partly up with some Chimaev next weekend. We'll talk about that later. So 6 units on a Blaydes finish, actually, which is wild to think about. Maybe I tape too fast. Anyways, I still think that's a very likely outcome. I think it happens. Covers my ass if Blaydes goes out there and gasses late, even though I think Daukaus gasses way earlier.
The guy's never
I think
past the 3rd round. Except
exactly.
Once.
I agree with you guys. Blaydes by domination, DraftKings play 100%. It's going to be a fun night. I'm not going to add anything more. And with that, we're going to round it out. Before we do, a couple things that were asked in chat. First one, Max Griffin more live for decision or Joanne Wood? Probably Joanne.
Probably.
My opinion.
Ugh.
I think Joanne. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, maybe Griffin. I would take Griffin.
Really?
I think.
Okay. All right.
But
Yeah,
not by much confidence.
I think Griffin's more likely to win, but I think Joanne's win equity is a bit more like I think Joanne's win equity is all decision. Like I don't really see how she finishes, but I think Griffin's more likely to win. So like either way, both better not happen. So I don't lose money.
And then how real is that Daukaus BJJ black belt? Not real enough. I don't think it's a chance to use it. That's my thoughts on that.
I think it's a situation where he's actually not bad when he's got top position, but he's not good off his back.
Fair. All right, that's going to end it here. One last comment. I see, please heard Daukaus slander. Yeah, that's actually Daukaus is his friend. Isn't he a cop or he used to be a cop? That's him. Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for us on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure before you guys leave to hit that like button. Check back tomorrow. My DFS video should be posted. I think that was an absolutely beautiful video. I appreciate you guys putting up with my hotel Wi-Fi, the SoundCloud rappers, the police crowd. It was great. Before I let you guys go, let them know where they can find you. If you guys want to check out Phoenix on Twitter, before I let you guys shout yourself out, I'll shout you guys out for you. Phoenix has some great breakdowns on Twitter. Tim has his Lambo plays tomorrow night. Now you guys can talk yourself out. Phoenix, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just on Twitter at the handle down below right now. I'm taking a taking a break from YouTube until I start producing the results that I want. But
That's maturity.
I'm on a good streak right now. I'm on a 3-event winning streak right now, looking to make it 4. If Blaydes does
Awesome.
his thing, you know.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming and joining me on the show here today. Tim, where can they find you?
Yeah, thanks again. This has been awesome. I'm on tomorrow night with Narco Cop on Lambo Plays, and then Sean Orr and Tajik Bey and I do spaces on Twitter on Wednesdays and Saturdays, usually breaking down the cards. We've had some awesome ones lately. We had Damon Jackson on last night, and then we had Cody Brunage on the week before, Saeed Yokub Kakramanov, and Terrence McKinney came on during his one. It was absolutely awesome. So it's good times.
That's awesome.
Thanks for having me. This has been great.
No problem, man. We'll have to have you on again in the future. Appreciate you both for coming in. Shout out to everybody hanging out in the chat today. I loved all the interactions. I appreciate what he's saying, and I'll love on Twitter too. I got some great comments for that. I will absolutely love the fights this weekend. Keep an eye out for me if you guys can see me in the crowd. I try to get tickets right where they walk out, so maybe I'll just pop my head in the screen when they're dancing. There's no Cowboy Oliveira dance for 5 minutes, so that won't help. But yeah, shout out to everybody for joining me in the chat today. Shout out for you two for joining me. Shout out Justin, who can't comment. I see your text. Appreciate you, brother, for watching. And with that, I'm gonna get some sleep. I drove for 10 hours today. I'm exhausted, but I would not have had it any other way. Love breaking down the card with you guys. I appreciate all your input. I'm sure I'll message you guys both this weekend about who I should add for some DGen parlays. But best of luck to both you guys on your bets, and let's make some money, guys. Cheers.